Good evening, and welcome to the first ever Aptos Junior High School virtual back to school night. We want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to view our presentation. We would also ask that after viewing this video, you please use the link to the Aptos Junior High School homepage. There you'll find a link to the virtual back to school night Google site. Um, this will help you to gain valuable information from our staff regarding expectation and support for our students. We will offer a quick guide to using the site at the end of this presentation. So good evening again. I'm Mr. Moran. I'm principal at Aptos Junior. I'm pictured on the left with my family. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Phillips. He's our assistant principal. He's pictured on the right with his family. We serve as the administrative team here at Aptos Junior High. At Aptos Junior, access, rigor, and culture are the cornerstones of our school. We work to provide access to a variety of programs for all learners. We work to offer a rigorous curriculum, and we work to foster a culture of inclusion and support, as well as academic and social emotional success. Although we've had to adjust to the current state of education, distance learning, our goals remain the same. There are a number of both site and district level components in place meant to provide access to all learners. Two very important aspects are structure and communication. Our daily schedule clearly outlines both synchronous and asynchronous for opportunities for engagement and support. Most importantly, students can utilize the weekly planner or week at a glance and office hours to help plan and guide their learning in collaboration with the instructor. So looking at the structure slide, I'll click on our daily schedule. Here you can see our daily schedule. The class periods in, I guess what I would call it an orange color, are class periods that are scheduled. That's synchronous time for learning. As you can see in the red or salmon color, we have a message here for students to let them know that this is asynchronous time and that they can or should use this time they have to independently work on activities for school. That's the asynchronous time. They've got a lot of asynchronous time on Monday and plenty of time on Tuesday through Friday to continue their efforts to be successful during distance learning. You can also see the teacher office hours in green. Those office hours are constant and can be scheduled typically by sending an email or first communicating with the instructor to let them know that you want to take advantage of office hours. Communication is another very important component. As a school site, we're using a number of platforms to communicate, including Gmail, phone messaging, as well as text notifications, and through social media, including Instagram and Twitter. You can find our Twitter account on our homepage. You can see our Instagram account listed here, and I've linked the Gmail because I wanted to show you. On our homepage, if you go to the staff directory, you'll be able to find the email for all of our instructors. Communicating via Gmail is the best way to communicate with all of our instructional staff and site staff. To continue talking about access, I wanted to go ahead and highlight a few points on our week at a glance. We call it a WAG or weekly planner. Some call it a student planner. And although some of them are different, they should have the same components or be made of the same components. You can see clearly the standards that are being addressed, the daily activity list, the approximate time needed to complete it, points available, and due date. So although some of the weekly planners or week at a glances are structured differently, typically by department, they do have the main components or the same main components. These components are meant to support your student and to support parent guardians in offering support to their students. In addition to structure and communication, we're striving to offer the most comprehensive level of support that we can. A combination of instructors, administrators, and classified staff will continue to reach out to you and your students to offer support for a variety of reasons, including attendance or participation, academic or social emotional support, technical support, and our support meant to help you navigate the digital platforms we're using through distance learning. All of these folks can be reached by contacting the Aptos Junior High School main office. You can reach our office staff, get support reaching our instructional staff, counseling team, wellness team, the administrative team, health services assistant, and the site technician. As stated earlier, despite the shift to our educational system, we will continue to do our best to ensure that our students have opportunities to engage in rigorous curriculum. Now more than ever, this is proving to be a highly collaborative effort between instructor, students, and guardians. That being said, there are mechanisms meant to support this. In addition to our daily schedule and weekly planner, the use of both synchronous and asynchronous time is of the utmost importance. Students often need to engage in productive struggle in order to foster habits of success. This struggle often requires the support of guardians and instructors. The use of non-class time, especially office hours, is a great way to get the support needed in order to grapple with challenging assignments. So on this slide, I have listed again, as part of our attempt to continue a rigorous curriculum, our schedule supports our students' efforts, our weekly planner, but especially as it's highlighted, that asynchronous and synchronous learning time. It's so important for our students to do their best to be in all of their classes, including advisory, and it's equally important for our students to take advantage of those office hours during asynchronous time. Time management for students managing their synchronous and asynchronous learning is super important as well, and it's also supported by our schedule and the daily routines and habits that you all build together at home. Additionally, we realize that our students, staff, and guardians have had to become familiar with a number of digital tools in order to support our students' efforts when engaging in rigorous tasks. As you can see, we're using a variety of platforms, including, but not limited to, Google Classroom, Google Meet, Gmail, Flipgrid, Screencastify, Kami, Padlet, and Jamboard. If you're not familiar with all of these platforms or systems, I'm confident your students should be familiar with most of them, especially Flipgrid and Screencastify. And I know a lot of folks are using Kami and Padlet and Jamboard as well. We do realize that it is a lot to learn. We spent a lot of time at the beginning of the school year doing our best to teach our students how to use these tools. We as educators are continuing to learn new ways to use these tools as well. And the goal for all of these tools is meant to provide rigorous and engaging tasks. It's challenging at times during distance learning, but we are adapting our style and our strategies, and we're doing our best to utilize technology to support our efforts. These platforms are meant to do a variety of things, but most importantly, they're meant to provide opportunities for our students to engage with the instructors and peers, to both demonstrate their understanding and to collaborate to develop new understandings. We're working diligently to utilize all available tools in order to allow our students to collaborate with each other. We're quite aware that student discourse and collaboration are important components of a rigorous curriculum.
Thanks, Mr. Moran. This is Mr. Phillips, picking up where Mr. Moran left off. One of the most important aspects of education is going to school. Being at school and interacting with peers is a major part of the educational experience. While distance learning has limited all of our interactions, we still have a number of avenues to continue building school culture. One is Google Meets. Students meet every day in their virtual classrooms to participate in learning activities, but also to continue building relationships and connections that are such a vital part of being a student. As in most educational activities, there are procedures and expectations, some of which are slightly different than that which they were in traditional on-campus environment, but they're largely the same. Be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. You would be proud to hear that our students have been upholding these expectations admirably, and they have exemplified what it means to be a Sea Dragon. As part of our ongoing efforts to support and inform our students in their distance learning journey, we have and will continue to post relevant information and activities for students in their advisory classes. These activities will range from morning announcements to student surveys to college and career activities. They are all intended to continue building our school community and culture. Positive Behavior Intervention and Support, or PBIS, is the practice that guides our school culture development. We encourage students to do well through repeated teaching and reinforcement of positive behavior outcomes, and we seek to recognize these positive behaviors. In a standard school setting, we would be holding frequent celebrations of students who have demonstrated being safe, respectful, and responsible, so we have adapted our recognition system to fit our current setting. Each week, every teacher will have the opportunity to nominate a student for their efforts in class as they relate to PBIS. Each student recognized in this manner will receive a letter in the mail congratulating them for their efforts, along with a gift card for redemption at a local business. Additionally, our PBIS lead teacher, Ms. Carrie Gill, will announce our Super Sea Dragons on Instagram as examples of what it means to be a Sea Dragon. We will continue this program throughout distance learning, and we hope every student has an opportunity to have their efforts recognized. While interactions with peers is an important part of a student's daily routine, interactions with professional educators and counselors is the heart of what education has to offer. Often, especially now, students find themselves overwhelmed by schoolwork, family circumstances, or personal issues. Our counseling department is sponsoring Mindful Mondays, which will be presented in advisory and will provide students with encouragement and strategies for managing the stress of middle school, peer interactions, and the pandemic. At Aptos Junior, we have long employed a comprehensive system for identifying students in need of support and delivering that support in a timely manner. Distance learning has necessitated that we rely on these systems of referral in order to identify students in need of support. Our wellness team, composed of counselors and administrators, has endeavored to identify students in need of support. Along with a variety of informal referral measures, we employ two primary methods for referring students for support: a teacher referral and a community referral form. Our teachers have been diligently identifying students who they have determined may be in need of academic or social emotional support and referring those students to our counseling team. One method that has thus far gone underutilized is our community referral for support form, which can be found on the AJHS counseling page. Any friend, family member, or member of the community who may fill out this form to refer a student who they have determined may need additional support. Since we aren't able to see our students nearly as much as we would like, we are relying on our community to help us to support our students. Once a referral is received, our wellness team will determine appropriate supports and work to quickly address each student's needs.
And before you get going this evening, I just wanted to make a couple of announcements and talk to you about upcoming events or opportunities. We're still looking for parents or guardians to participate in our Aptos Junior High School Home and School Club. Our first meeting is scheduled for 10/14/20 at 5:15 p.m. If you're interested in participating in the Home and School Club, please email our office manager, Ms. Deanne Najera, at deannajera@pvusd.net, or just call the main office at 728-7834. The Home and School Club is typically responsible for fundraising and supporting site-based events. Even though we're still engaged in distance learning, we still want to get our home and school club together and talk about the options that we have through distance learning and hopefully plan for some events that could take place in the hopefully near future. We'll also be looking to recruit additional volunteers in early November, in the event that we're able to return to school in some manner in January. If we can come back, we would need support in the library and possibly for school functions. Again, we're being optimistic, but we figured we would reach out now and have a team ready in case we are able to come back and sponsor school events. So if you're interested in volunteering in some capacity, please email our office manager again, Ms. Najera, or simply give her a call at 728-7834. And finally, just a reminder, if you have not already done so, please complete the parent survey link here. It'll be linked on our website as well. The survey will remain open until Wednesday, September 30th. And finally, our second Q&A session with Mr. Moran is scheduled for Wednesday, October 21st at 6 p.m. The link for the meeting will be posted on the Aptos Junior homepage on the same date, just prior to the meeting. As a reminder, again, this will be a virtual meeting, as well as our home and school club meetings or any volunteer meetings. They'll all still be virtual at this time. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening, and please stay tuned for a quick video or guide on how to use the Aptos Junior High School Virtual Back to School Google site. You'll use this site to get information about your students' classes. Have a great evening and stay tuned.
Hello there, Mr. Phillips again, here to take you through a quick overview of our Aptos Junior High School virtual back to school night website. On the left-hand side in this blue bar, you'll see a navigation menu, which will take you to the various departments. I'll take you to administration first. Here's Mr. Moran, Mr. Phillips. You've already seen our faces tonight. Below our pictures, you'll see some contact info, as well as our links to our letters and videos of introduction. So on each staff member's page, you'll see one of these two, maybe both, a letter of introduction explaining who we are, how we came to be here, and a potential video. I'll also take you through to the main office. Please make sure you stop off at the main office to meet Ms. Nahara, Mr. Arce or Rafa, and Ms. Figueroa. You've heard from some of these people on the phone already this year, probably. I'll also take you to our 8th grade ELA just to show you some examples of what you might see present on a teacher's page. Again, their contact info. You'll see their preferences for making office hours appointments. It might be through email, it might be a phone call, it might be a drop-in Google Meet. You'll see a link to the course syllabus. There might be more than one present if the teacher teaches more than one class. You'll also see the teacher's links to their letters of introduction and a potential video introduction. So please take the time to look at those, get to know these teachers a little bit. We hope you enjoy your time on our virtual back to school night website. Please reach out if you have any questions at all. Have a wonderful night.